Hello there. I'm Erika Chavez, a sales coordinator at SmithLife Homecare. Welcome to the Ask the Expert series. For those unfamiliar with SmithLife Homecare, we are affiliated with Charles E. Smith Life Communities, a reputable elder care brand with over a century of community service. We operate in Washington, D.C. and Montgomery County. The SmithLife Homecare Ask the Expert series is dedicated to sharing essential insights and resources for aging in place. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing our esteemed guest, Doran Flowers, Executive Director of Little Falls Village in Bethesda. Our focus today is Little Falls Village, and we are delighted to have Doran with us. Thank you, Doran, for being here and shedding light on your work. Let's jump in with a few questions. Okay, first question, Doran. Could you briefly introduce yourself and describe your role at Little Falls Village?
Of course. Thanks, Erica, for having me. And I understand that this is entitled Ask an Expert, which is amusing to me because I am in no way an expert. I have been on the job here at Little Falls Village as the executive director for 1 year as of a couple of days ago, but I'm still learning so much every day. I am Doran Flowers, originally a volunteer when the village was created back in 2013. And over the course of 9 years, I volunteered with the village, but didn't understand just how essential villages were to many, many issues dealing with aging in place until I became executive director. So I've been learning a ton, and I'm happy to answer whatever questions you may have, and we'll see how well I do.
Yes, you're taking me to the second question that is for our viewers. What exactly is Little Falls Village?
So interestingly enough, when I mentioned Little Falls Village to people that I randomly meet in my neighborhoods, the neighborhoods of 20816, which is our service area, they often say, "Oh, is that village off of Goldsboro and River Road?" And it's like, no, a village is a concept. It's a concept, and the concept is for villages, aging in place villages, is that it's community looking after one another. We understand that we have many seniors in our communities that in the old days, we wouldn't need a village like we are, a nonprofit. It would be neighbors taking care of neighbors. And so for a number of reasons, which we can talk about, it is harder for that community. The community doesn't exist as much as it used to. And so that's why villages have stepped in. And it really is just neighbors creating a nonprofit designed to help their senior neighbors stay as valued members of their community in their homes.
That's wonderful. Yes, nowadays villages are really are popular with the seniors, and it's a wonderful resource for them to stay in place, to live, at home, and to have people to help them. So can you please give us an overview of the services and events that the village offers?
Yep, and I'll talk about Little Falls Village, but I also want to place our village in context with all the villages in Montgomery County and even the DMV area. Our village is one of the bigger villages. We serve almost 200 members, 50 plus. We have approximately 100 volunteers. And the heart of our village is really helping the seniors who need services to stay within our community, whether it be a ride to the doctor, people picking up prescriptions, friendly calls even, shoveling snow, to provide them with the connections they need that volunteers from our community can help them have those things done so they can stay as part of our community. And that's really kind of the physical side of things. And more importantly, I think, is the making sure that we have those relationships and connections within our community that make everything else go. So yes, the services, but also just the knowing that there are people in the neighborhoods looking out for you and who care about you, I think, is even more important. And so our village is one of, there's 30 plus in Montgomery County now, and some are very well established. There's a number that are in the making. And that just goes to show you that really that concept of neighbors helping neighbors can take so many different forms. And so I would say that we're very much a traditional village in terms of being most of our membership and volunteers are 50 plus, and we do invite other people to be involved. But there are villages in Montgomery County that are multi-generational. And so they do a lot of intergenerational activities. There are villages that are all volunteer. We are a village that do have a couple staff on board, myself and Margaret Walker is our director of operations. So that's relatively unusual, primarily because our villages are normally run volunteer basis and really supported by donations and some membership fees.
So now we're talking about volunteers. That's yes. Something important. Are there any key aspects about Little Falls villages regarding to volunteers, how they can, apply to volunteer with the village?
Yes, so I like to pride Little Falls Village in being able to fit in any sort of volunteer energy because we know that there's so many ways that human beings can be in relation to each other. Erika, you just signed up as a volunteer for Little Falls Village. and I understand that you're going to be hanging out with one of our Spanish speakers, and
yes,
she's very much looking forward to it. And so, that's just one of the simple things, which is, frankly, a lot of our members and volunteers, the best moments for both are spending time together. And a lot of times, even the simple act of bringing a person to their medical appointments gives you time to, during that car ride, to get to know each other. And so I would say if you want to volunteer with a village, whether it be Little Falls Village here or any village, look them up online. There's different portals that you can find. Montgomery County itself, if you looked up aging in place villages, they have a map where all the villages are located. If you're here in the 20816 West Bethesda, we'd love to have you. It is very people-based, so you'd be talking to myself, Doran Flowers, or Margaret Walker, and we'd find a place for you. You would apply with us. We have a little volunteer application. You'd say what you're interested in doing, how you're interested in volunteering, and we would say we love it, and this is how we see this working.
Yes, from my own experience, it's really easy to join. There is so many things and so many ways that you can help, the village, and Margaret is wonderful. So it's really easy. So please, guys, if you want to help and you really feel identified, with the community, just go ahead. And you're going to have no regrets and so much fun, which I will. So and now
Erika,
let's talk about...
Erika, one thing I'd like to say on that, which is like most volunteer-driven organizations, when you talk about fun, really nobody has to be a part of this. And that's kind of the nature of these nonprofits where truly it is everybody who's involved, whether it be members, volunteers, staff, our board. We're all here because we want to be. And I think that's when you see a thriving organization where that is the rule, that people want to be there and be a part of it, that means something good is going on.
Yes, I agree. So now let's talk about if a senior, he is interested in joining, what are the steps that they should take and where they can find more information?
Yep, exactly the same steps. So once again, you can find us on the internet at littlefallsvillage.org. But we also have a phone number, 301-320-3267, I believe. Hope that's right, or else you'll be calling some random person. But the same people will be answering as the same people who will bring in volunteers, which is myself, Doran Flowers, Margaret Walker. On occasion, we'll have other volunteers responding to calls or answering the phone. And it is all the same people that, as a member, you'll be interfacing with. So we're the same people who will integrate a member into the community, tell them what events are upcoming, kind of share the details of exactly how the village works. And so I'll leave all the details up to the actual call because I think the important thing is just people make that call or send the email.
Sure. Doran, I love the setup of your office. I like those plans, but I'm curious about the You know, the frame that you have behind your back. What is it?
Oh yeah. So well, this is one of my favorites. That's One Punch Man from Japanese manga. So if you're into that, you know who that was. But that's just a me thing.
Uh-huh.
My goal for this office is to have photos blown up from our new photo club that we just put together.
Uh-huh.
And eventually, every office wall, and there's a lot that you don't see here that are empty, will be filled with gorgeous photos from our incredible photo club members, nature members, volunteers. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh, that's so cool. So the next Ask the Expert that we're gonna do, we're gonna see use a
Uh,
new wall of
yes,
full of
I
pictures
can
and
almost
everything.
guarantee it. I'm doing none of the work, but I can almost guarantee it.
Okay, that's wonderful. Is there any more programs, clubs that you can tell us about?
Oh, yes. So great question, Erica. And I'm trying to remember all of them because, frankly, like most villages, it kind of depends on the human energy you have involved. So I would say things that we do always, because it's kind of become our thing, is the pandemic really changed us quite a bit. We went from having a lot of in-person activities, and that was the focus of most of our programs, to now we have a very robust online Zoom schedule. And so we have art docent programs all around the country where people hop on Zoom and can see museums from Maine to California. That happens usually twice a month. We also have guest speakers. And as you know, around the DMV, we have a lot of talents, a lot of experience.
The men's
And
club. I remember Margaret mentioned something about the men's club,
yes, and
right?
yes. And so our
I
men's
paying
club,
attention.
yes. Our men's club has a lot of those people who are very experienced and interesting life stories, which they love to share with each other because they're guys, you know. Um, and so oftentimes we'll have those people present as guest speakers via Zoom. Another big thing that we do now is when the pandemic first began, we were one of the villages that really dove into making sure that our membership could get vaccinations because it's very difficult to arrange, very difficult to get to. We now have a great relationship with Giant Pharmacy, and in
Mm-hmm.
fact, we will do a nice vaccination clinic again. We do them twice a year, fall and spring. Our next vaccination is clinic is October 20th. But we're also helping a number of other villages in the county do their own vaccination clinics too, because we feel like keeping our members healthy is a big aspect of making sure that they're continue to be a treasured part of our community. What else? Other exciting things that people do, and this is all based upon we have small affinity groups, is what they call them, which is more or less members or volunteers who are interested in doing something with their peers. They'll just start a group, and we'll support them. We have a short fiction group that meets and discusses small pieces of short fiction. We have a poetry group, which is a long-standing, amazing group of people. We have the men's club, the men's group, which we talked about. They drink coffee, talk about the latest events. They do lunch once a month. We have a walking club. We have the photo club. We have somebody who's thinking about starting up a financial investment club currently. So that's going to
Mm.
happen probably in the next month or two. What else do we have? We have somebody who wants to invite people to be part of our sustainable living and eating group. And so, yeah, it could be really anything. And that's one thing that I would invite the listeners to think about, which is it's not only what we have, but we always welcome people who feel like they have something to add. And that really is a
New
secret.
ideas.
Yes, that's really the secret to any village. Like I said, it is made up of people, and those people have their own passions and hobbies. And a lot of it is just them being a part of our community and saying, this is my passion or hobby. I would love to share it with other people. And boom, something magical happens. So there you go. Thanks for
Wonderful.
asking.
Thank you. Before we wrap up, we'll provide contact details for Little Falls Village so you can learn more about their initiatives and reach out to Doran and Margaret and their team. So we're almost over. Thank you so much for tuning in. Doran, your willingness to share these insights with our audience is much appreciated.
Thank
As
you,
Kathleen
Erika.
often says, stay tuned for our upcoming chapters in the Ask the Expert series, and goodbye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you.